Hello, hello, welcome everyone. My name is Ali Babel, and yes, I am still here at Trellis, pushing away here for one of the first times ever. I'm excited to bring someone who I call a personal friend, and also our new chief evangelist, and some of the face you'll be seeing a lot more of on some of these too. Introducing Mr. John Aspinall himself. John, how are you?
Oh, I am well, sir. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be called a good friend of yours. That's I'm happy and yeah, I'm excited to kick off a whole bunch more of these.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's we went to accelerate together. We've already been to a ton of shows together as well. It's not that we haven't and spent a lot of time, but John, how's accelerate repping the trellis flag?
You know me, and just it was a banger of a show as it always is, and it was awesome seeing the whole entire team. We came out really deep, really strong, met a ton of great people, learned a lot of cool things, taught people even more cool new things. And yeah, that flight though from New York to Seattle, that'll get you every time. For the folks in Seattle already or on the West Coast, you have a little treat. It's a little hop, skip, and jump. But for the New Yorkers, it's a flight. I will say that.
What about the Torontonians here? Like, mind you, it was a direct flight. We have the ability to get one, even though I'm surprised there's not a direct coming in from New York or even Newark for that matter.
No, it was a direct flight, but it was just a long flight. This is like a long flight. There's only so many pretzels and peanuts and that you can have before you start to get stir crazy. But luckily, I was, you know, LinkedIn, DMing, doing
Yeah.
what I do best on the way. I can't sleep on planes, so it's just not. I'm not built for that. So
I entirely and exclusively sleep on planes. That engine hum comes on, I'm out. I'm out. It's
I'm just
perfect. I wake up, land in a new city, refreshed, ready to go. Bit of back pain, but whatever.
Dude,
Ready to go.
I literally would chug a bottle of NyQuil, which is not recommended at all. And I don't know what my body does, but I get on a plane, my body's like, "You're staying up. You're staying up. You got work to do." So I did work.
I think most of the people here probably play in your camp of not enjoying or not being able to sleep on planes. And I'll take the anomaly of myself here, but they didn't come here for us to talk about our travel problems and how I win in this scenario here. But more than anything, I think they came for the tacos code, and so there was a lot of people at the talk. I think it was I couldn't even keep track. I couldn't keep track to be honest. But they did tell me after that they added an extra set of headphones across a couple tables because a lot of people were interested in it. And I think the attendance here today kind of says the same thing.
It's a for folks that don't know, it's an interesting dynamic when you go to these shows and see these speakers because, like Ali said, headphones. It's like going to those quiet raves where everyone has a headphone on. There's a DJ, but if you don't have the headphones on, you don't hear anything. So everyone has these headphones on, and I'm over at the booth with my headphones, nowhere near, well, close, but not exactly in the audience, and I can still hear. So it's an interesting dynamic to actually listen and watch a speaker with headphones on. I guess in a way, not like anyone did with Ali, but if you get bored and you don't want to hear the person anymore, just take your headphones off and walk away. I don't want to hear that. So
Yeah, no,
you have a captive audience for sure.
which was nice. I don't know if anyone did take it off. There was a few people in the front who didn't get headphones, so they came to sit really close so they could hear, which is
Trying to
which was
trying to
pretty funny.
trying to read lips and be like, what is he saying?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But it was a good one. A lot of the feedback, a lot of the commentary. The biggest thing was like for a lot of people was actually this makes it a lot easier. That's what it felt like. That was kind of the best way I can synopsisize it, summarize it. But it's pretty
Guys,
much
yeah.
everyone. Yeah. So let's get into it. This time I get to do it with my friend John, and we're gonna walk you through it. What is the TACoS code? How do you think about it? How do you involve not only your strategy but your tactics and talking about incrementality along the way here? And where this all started was actually months ago. I actually put out a poll on LinkedIn, and then I also then had a separate one that I put into a few group chats there too, asking this question.
So if that's true, right? So if you had one metric to optimize campaigns on, which is it going to be? Like, it's very polarizing, right?
Yeah.
In a way, because you have some brands that are like, ACoS is king. Like, I think you have a lot of people that are like, well, TACoS, no. And then there's the people that are like, well, I want to do both. I want to make sure everything is good. And you get folks saying, what's a good TACoS? What's a good ACoS? And there's a lot of variables that come into play there where it's like, how much are you leaving on the table? How much are you willing to do? Like, it's not a set defined number, right?
No, no, not at all. And that's the thing. Like, I think people we talk about this often. People look at both often. They want to optimize against one or the other. But really, let's just see what actually people said. And I'll be honest, this was the result of that poll. And everyone says TACoS. Even in the audience, actually, everybody, this ratio was actually very similar. It was like everyone put their hand up at this point and said, "Yeah, I say TACoS too." And that was like kind of like curious for me, because like we all care about that. We all spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, well, I care about TACoS. I care about how much of my advertising spend, how much of my total sales are getting spent towards advertising, and I want to optimize against this metric. But we don't do that right now. Like, you and I talk about this often as well. Like, everyone focuses on this like ACoS number and this like this which again, this is on an individual efficiency campaign level. But we all say TACoS, but we actually optimize against ACoS, and like that's how our day-to-days play out.
But like, tell me more. Pretend I'm like my second grader, right? And why is this important? Why does this matter? Why is TACoS important? Why is it important to deconstruct it?
Yeah.
Why are the folks, the 7% and the other 10%, not on the bandwagon? Like, what does that all mean?
Yeah, I think the reason why there's so many people on the taco side is that everyone knows what their margins are, what their cogs are, and they want to be able to say, well, if I have this much revenue, I'm paying this much to Amazon. These are my cogs on top of that and some overhead. This is my profit, and what is my advertising component that's eating up into that profit as well? And so everyone looks at tacos to see that how profitable am I as an organ, as a business, as my catalog, or my cat, or the grouping of my products, like my categories, or my individual product level as well. And so people who said the ACoS, they actually were thinking, again, that's actually where they optimized from. Like, they were the truest ones in saying and speaking the truth that, yes, I care about tacos, but I optimize against ACoS because that's how I do it today. And that sufficiently has its own pain against with it as well. My argument is actually the people who are in the both category are the ones that are trying to figure it out. They're the ones who are saying, I'm trying to figure out how to balance my tacos with my ACoS in every single step of the way, but it's not playing out for them that way. And so that code, this code actually benefits all three groups, right? Because when you think about it, ACoS in its individual sense is really just tactics, right? Is this campaign efficient for me? Is it driving sales for me? Is it directly correlating back to sales? But when you look at that, and when you look at ACoS and you make decisions on ACoS, right, you end up cutting what actually looks inefficient, even if it fuels tomorrow's growth. And I see you rolling your eyes there. And so, what do I
No,
actually?
but what does that mean? But like, what,
Yeah,
like that's cool. You're the slide king. It's but how do I break it down to where it
yeah.
actually makes some sense?
The biggest part here is because when a campaign's not performing for us, how we define that is not driving sales for us. So we'll say, you know what, it's inefficient. We're going to cut that. But the part that we're blind to, um, is, am I getting new to brand shoppers on this one? Am I driving people to come back and buy again? Right? That as much as it may be expensive for me, it might be the biggest one that's driving my customer acquisition. And so that's one element of it. The other is people look at multiple touch points. That an ad is not the last one, is not the only one they see. They see other ads as well, whether it be a sponsored product, sponsored brand, and there's a path that people take towards that purchase. And so everyone who's run campaigns and PPC before, you know this to be true. I cut off one campaign and I turn it off. All my other campaigns start failing a little bit too, or start performing worse. And so we make these micro decisions on a campaign level against ACoS that doesn't factor in if whether or not it's bringing in the right customers for me. That doesn't factor in where it plays in the advertising journey for me as well, and that my shoppers, and where it plays as to when my shoppers are seeing it too. And so when you think about it, like it's so isolated and it's so siloed, and it doesn't allow for either of these decision criteria to come into play here. And that's
So
the part that I want to change.
in a way, is it almost, for lack of a better term, being short-sighted, right? Where
Entirely.
if
Entirely.
you're looking at it where you're like, this campaign's not performing, but you're not looking down the road with all those different touch points, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
maybe that ad looked on paper like it wasn't performing, but that ad then eventually got that person to make that purchase and have an acquisition down the
Yeah.
road. But you're not looking at the whole picture and the total,
Yeah.
right? It's a little short-sighted.
Well, it could entirely be the first ad that a customer sees, but they convert on something else, right? So it doesn't give you, did this ad add value along the shopper journey to get that purchase either way,
Yeah.
as well. So there's a few areas there where, to your point, the short-sightedness impacts our overall goal, right? Impacts our profitability. It impacts our ability to even capture sales and acquire new customers. And TACoS, on the inverse side, when you think about it in isolation, even though 83% said I would want to, or was it 80 something, say that TACoS is the one I want to optimize against. That's really just on a high level, right? I know how much my ads are driving against my overall strategy, and my overall goal, and I can figure out that I want to be at a 10% TACoS, right? I want to spend 10 cents of every dollar that I make on a paid or organic sale towards my advertising efforts. And so I know the target. But if I want to optimize on this alone, then I'm just going to turn down budgets, but not necessarily solve my problem. And so I don't know what the next step is now. I can say I'm at, a 12% TACoS, and I want to be at a 10. So what do I do? Do I just spend less? Do I bid less? Which campaigns do I cut? Why do I cut them? And then you run into this ACoS problem, which is where everyone's up playing, right? They all care
So
about TACoS.
yeah, in my head, right, you're looking at it like if you're a business owner of a dry cleaner, for example, right?
Yeah.
And you do $100,000 a month in revenue, right?
Mhm.
Your cost is $50,000. You profited 50,000. Good, that wins, right? But you don't know how many shirts to clean, how many more pants to clean, how many more wedding dresses you have to get if you want to go from 50 to 75 to 100 more in profit, right? Because
Yeah,
you're looking at just the bottom line. You're not
that's it.
looking at what it took to get there.
That's entirely it. And that's where the short-sightedness, to your point, comes in as well. Like, this is equally as short-sighted. Yes, you're looking at your business. Yes, you are thinking about your business goals, and the overall profitability of your business, but you don't know where to go next. And then we go into ACoS, and then we get inefficient there as well. And so all of these things keep happening in isolation, and it's painful, right? It's a tough decision to make. We don't really know what to do often. And we often either leave money on the table one way or the other. And what ends up happening is we end up overspending or underspending,
I
right?
don't I don't I don't I don't know what's worse,
Yeah,
because you can look at it from both sides, and overspending is painful because you're spending money and not bringing in the ROI, you're not bringing in the sales. But I almost think underspending is more frustrating because the opportunity is shot. Because if it's
exactly.
underspending, and how much money did you leave on? So what's more painful, leaving money on the table or burning it? I mean, they both suck, you know?
And that's it, right? Like if I'm at, let's look at the other example. I'm at an 8% TACoS. I need to be at, and 10 is what I'm willing to spend. I close out the month, do my reports, see that number, and I'm like, shoot, I could have spent more money, and that's more sales that I could have gotten. And so like you keep running into this, like on either side, you're trying to find this balance of always getting to the right goal. And in the absence of knowing, in the absence of having, this code we're about to get into, um, you end up actually leaving, to your point, a lot of sales on the table every single step of the way, right? That we don't ever want that, whether I'm underspending, overspending. I want that nice optimal point where I know that I'm profitable, where I know I'm capturing all of these new customers for me, and I'm making sure that that's the most efficient way possible, right? And that's
When it comes to spending money on ads is never it never feels good, right?
Mhm.
It's you want it to, like, everyone would love organic sales. In a perfect world, oh, I never have to pay for sales. Everyone just knows my
Yeah,
stuff, they buy it, right?
yeah,
So it's already painful to spend money on ads. You want to mitigate that pain by winning, right? So it's already a little bit of a stressful situation.
yeah.
So adding more stress of spending more or not spending enough just leads to it.
Yeah, then that's it, right? So like then we all firefight. Like that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? It's like, well, shit, what do I do now? Well, hell, what do I do now? Right? Like I keep running into these kind of paths where you're just like you're being reactionary. It's stressful, to your point. I just want to be able to figure out a way and a framework as to how I can operate to always find that goal for me, right? And make sure I'm spending exactly how much I want to spend and still be profitable, versus figuring that out a month later when I get my payout statements and I do my P&L analysis and all of this, and say, oh shoot, I didn't make any money this month, right? Like it's the worst place to be. And so how do we get everyone to realize this, that we can't keep doing it the way we're doing it? We all think we're good at it. We all think that we figured out how to do it. But every month we're a little bit off or a little bit on, or a little bit off and a little bit on. And we're still just firefighting. And so John and I believe this to be true. I'd say I converted probably half that if not 70% or 80% of that room to believe this to be true, but we can't do the same things anymore, right? And we have to figure out a better way to do it. And that's a big part of where we came and said, what's the framework? What's a way to think about this that's simple, easy, that you can continuously run day over day and week over week, and more so week over week, to be honest. But what is that? And so the code, what does that look like?
But let me just say, because go back one slide. Go back one slide. Because I want to make it very clear to folks watching. Literally, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And nobody wants to be insane, right? So that's why doing the same thing, it's not going to work, because you can't do it over and over again and cross your fingers and hope. So,
yeah, and that's sufficiently it. So let's not be insane. Let's get away from that. So let's get into it. So TACoS code, we look at kind of that intersection of strategy, efficiency, and incrementality, right? It's looking at all three of these pieces at one time. That's how you figure it out. That's how you crack it. Still a lot of words, right?
It is, right? Because like you're at like Da Vinci Code level right now. I really want to know, like, and I've seen this already, so it's fine. But I really want to know like the actionable nitty gritty, because saying things like strategy, efficiency, tell me more. You got me. Like,
so let's get it all together. Your TACoS, your ACoS, and your AMC. And AMC is going to be an important variable here. It's one that people don't think about enough, right? It's an important part to understand your incrementality. So how do I bring all these three things together? The TACoS code is that. And so let me explain. Let me start with kind of the top of the pyramid here. TACoS sets the strategy, right? You want to define what that target is within your P&L. All of us think about this, the 80+% people that said, I want to optimize against TACoS because I don't want to leave profit on the table as well. I want to make sure that I'm only spending exactly how much I can to be profitable day over day and month over month, right? And so what is your target? Define that target and 10% or whatever it may be for you. And accordingly, you actually want to start comparing that target, whether you're on target, below target, or above target, will give you a certain mode that you need to operate in, right? If we're on that 12, let's say 10% is my target. If we're on that 12% side, then I'm going to be in this protect mode, that my ad spend is eating my margin, and I want to pull that back. I don't want to. I want to maintain that. I want to get that lower, rather. Sorry. On the on target part, I'm balanced it. My ad spend's aligned with my goals. I can fine tune. I can optimize, but it's working for me. I'm spending every dollar that I wanted to spend and every percentage that I want to spend to drive home my overall total sales. Things are good. Life's good, right? And then again, being below target, you're in grow mode. You have room to. You can actually add more money in. Right? If I'm on that 8% example, I can add 2 cents for every dollar I make to get me more sales. So let's go get it. Right? Let's figure out where to get it.
Where do you see, and I'm going to interrupt a lot during this, just
do it.
Where do you see most people fall with this right now?
You know what? That's an interesting question. Let me think about this. For the accounts that I look at a bunch of brands and a bunch of data pretty much every day. I'd say a lot of people are I'd say about 30% are in this on target, where they've have the right budgets, they have the right spend allocation there as well. And I'd kind of go 1/3, 1/3. There isn't really an overarching. Yeah, there's people who are above target, especially where like this prime big deal days, and they're spending a lot more than they want to, but hopefully it's driving the same revenue, which for most it is. But you're seeing both sides of that play out, especially ones that are trying to grow and growing aggressively, and haven't found their targeting mix, and they haven't found the right ad campaigns to run and the right keywords as well. They're often in that above target area, and so starting that way is a little challenging. But the other side of that also is true, where people are just they're like, hey, I've cut so much, right? And I've actually impacted, I've cut so much and now I'm more profitable and I'm happy, but they're not realizing that that other 2% is actually, whether it's that 8% example, but that other delta to get back to their goal is even more valuable for them, right? And so on that note though, John, your TACoS target can be different every month, right? It can be different every month, it can be different every quarter. That what is your business goal? Do I want to, am I willing to spend more of every dollar I make to get more top line growth? That works for me too, right? Like you can adjust what your TACoS goal is based on your parameters. I need more cash flow. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to adjust my TACoS target so I can have more profit margin for my business, right?
See, I think that's a thing. That's a great point, because too many people that I talk to are like, "What's a good tacos?"
Yeah,
And like you said, it depends what you're trying to do. So there's a lot of people try and say, working in the agency space, I've heard, 30% or less on an ACoS, 15% or less on a tacos is general range you want to be. But it really depends what your goals are and what you're trying to do. If are you in the protect mode? Are you in grow mode? Like, what are you want more cash? You want more sales, top line? Like, what are you trying to do? And there's no set, like, hey, if your tacos is not 10%, you lose. So it depends exactly on what you're trying to say.
and if you're not profitable, right, that's step one, right? Like it's a matter of saying, what's my delta? How much room do I have? What's my contribution margin, right?
Yeah.
And then how much can I use from that as well? So TACoS is going to give you, it's always tying it back, right? It's always your ad spend back to your total sales and giving you that relationship and that clarity to help guide that, guide your approach, right? I think I even say it on the slide, right? It's that compass, it's the North Star, it's the where I want to get to for my business, right? So we start at the top for the business. And then things that we all actually do every day is that we actually look at ACoS, right? We measure our efficiency from there. And we give campaigns different targets every single time as well, right? Or what is our ACoS goal that we're going for? Because we make decisions on that. When it's above it, we actually cut it, right? That it's inefficient. It's overspending per sale that I'm making, and I'm not willing to lose that dollar, right? There's the on target. It's within my range, and below is where we all want to be, right? I want to make sure that those campaigns are driving well. But again, that's only on those individual campaigns, right? We're getting right down into the tactics. You're in the weeds on those campaigns here too, right? And I'm going to jump even further ahead here, John, because we all know ACoS. We all know ACoS well. I know everybody optimizes on ACoS, whether or not they want to do on TACoS or not. But AMC is kind of the other piece here that we're missing. That if we're only looking at efficiency, we're not looking at which campaign is driving new to brand acquisition for me. Am I adding new customers from this? In relation to my other campaigns, is this the highest one? Is this the lowest one? Right? Which campaigns are actually the ones that are getting me those customers that I want? Which ones are building my loyalty? Right? Which ones are getting me additional customers back again and again? Right? And then fundamentally, the last one is, am I getting people to buy other elements of my catalog as well? Right? So every business looks at these three things, e-com or not. How do I
But
get new customers?
yeah,
Go ahead.
no, I told you I'm going to interrupt you. I'm from New York. It's in my blood.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the New
with
York delight.
these three right here, right? Is it fair to say, like, someone that's looking at different categories, different product types, it's more important than another, right? So, are we adding customers? Are we building loyalty? So, is loyalty matter more for something that's subscribe and save, a repeat purchase, versus something that is a higher ticket, one time buy every couple years, right? Understanding that,
Yeah.
it's like, do you care more about loyalty when you're on something that's a subscribe and save, or something that's a repeat purchase, versus a once in a lifetime big purchase that, hey, you buy this and you're good for like 10 years, and your brand loyalty is a longer journey.
Yeah, I think there's kind of, you have your consumables and your durables, I like to call them, right? The things I'm going to buy one time and my rugs or anything like that. But there's also accessories that you can cross sell to those players too, right? So in both sides of this, you can play this in two ways. The consumables make a lot of sense. Am I getting the people back? I know that my product is gonna run out in 30 days, and am I getting them back to buy again? Am I not? What is the purchase frequency, and getting those customers to buy my product again, but then also increase their basket size with us too. That works really well, right? And anything that has that repeat purchase cycle or is like I said, a consumable. On the other side of that, those durables, you're still looking at new to brand, right? Ideally, each one of those, and it'll be higher skewed towards that. But then the other side of it is, and again, this is probably more geared towards the consumables. But on the durable side, are these campaigns driving across the overall path towards getting me that purchase, right? So the path to purchase becomes a lot more imperative here.
Totally.
Right? And so what is the journey that someone's taking? And so do I have accessories? Do I have other things that I can cross-sell, upsell, that I can target those people with, that you bought my product, but you're not going to buy another rug for 5 years or 7 years, or maybe you need one for another room. Am I getting in front of you at that time? But here's my rug cleaner. Here's my underpad, the pad that goes underneath it. Here's X, Y, and Z, right? Like, how do I get those buyers to see those products from me too? And so that's that kind of the halo side for in that effect, and also the repeat. Yes, it's not going to be as high in terms of repeat, but it's actually what you're trying to get them to get the other stuff from you too.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, folks watching. What he meant was XYZ.
We're gonna make a Canadian out of you soon, John. Don't worry.
Just a couple more gallons of maple syrup. We'll be there.
I'll get you a syringe for it too. You'll be ready to go. Canadian will run in your blood. So those are the 3 areas, right? We got our strategy. We got our efficiency and incrementality across your TACoS, ACoS, and AMC. That's the let's go with the HOVA approach towards it. And Jay-Z was ahead of his time. He had the code before we did. But it's
I smell good meme material coming from this for that.
Yeah, I regretted doing it as I said it, especially with you. But it's this is kind of where you want to play. And so I'm actually we have some data here. We walked through the data, but I'm more so going to give you, now that you know this is the code, these are the 3 things that will get you to where you want to get to, and how to think about it, and the questions you're asking yourself. How do we use it, right? And so we got really kind of a 3-step approach towards figuring that out. Step one here is setting your mode, right? Defining what is my target, what is my TACoS today, and am I in that protect mode, balance mode, or am I in that grow mode, right? And is my ad spend eating too much? Is it eating too little? Where am I actually playing to understand that? That's step 1, right? Step 2 then becomes, let's measure everything, right? Let's figure out what our ACoS is for all of our campaigns and on campaign levels. Let's look at, on a campaign level, my new to brand, my repeat, right? And because, again, we're trying to figure out not just the efficiency side of it, but which one is driving customers for me. Because we all want shoppers. We're not just trying to make sales. We want shoppers for us too, right? And then the last part is to move the money, right? The whole idea we talked about in the biggest pain is underspending, overspending, and leaving money on the table. And so then, now that I know what this is across each one, how do I move the money around to help support, right? How do I rebalance my budget? How do I reduce the waste? How do I balance and prioritize the appropriate winners for us too, right? So there's each mode that you're in will have different ways to move the money across it as well. But let me get into it. So these are the questions that you want to ask. We've talked about them a little bit before, but what is your TACoS target? What is your current TACoS? Above, on, or below? That's going to give you your mode.
What if someone doesn't know their TACoS target? What if they I know my current TACoS is this, and I'm at 8%. Well, should I be at 10%? Should I be at 12%? How would I know what my target is?
That's a business decision, right? So if you know you have 20% profit and you can spend 10% of that revenue on your advertising, and you're willing to spend that, and that makes you have 20% profit, then go for it, right? It comes down to, how much profit do I want to have, and then in turn, how much advertising spend do I want to have as well, right? So it's that percentage is yours when you're looking across your entire business unit, right? And you make that call. And I think people get lost in that. People forget about that, well, I should have this so I can do really well. No, you tell me what it is for your business, right? How much do I want to spend on advertising? And that's your top line goal. And then you figure out what that is across all their campaigns and products and all of that. But step 1, what's my advertising budget against all of the money that I make?
Yeah.
Right. So it's an example. I used this one earlier, so it's topical here, but that TACoS target that is at 10%. I'm using this one specifically because when people are like, oh, well, I beat my TACoS target, I'm 8%. I'm like, I offer my counterpoint to them, or my main thing that they're not realizing. I'm like, well, you were willing to spend 10. How much more could you have gotten? Right? Like, you're happy.
You see people that they're bragging that my TACoS is so low. I got my TACoS to 4%. When, like you said, if they can fiscally due 10%, 4% is nothing to brag about because you left money on the table.
Yeah, and there's ways to, and again, it's always a relationship. Don't get me wrong, but you have room to grow. If you're willing to spend that dollar, spend the dollar, right? Because you know that you can get more sales. Everything will go higher. Forget the percentages. The overall unit dollars will go up, right? And that's again, you're making 20% profit on $1 million, you're making 20% profit on 2 million. That's double the money in your pocket, right? Like we forget about that because we're always worried optimizing against this percentage.
Yeah.
So in this example, growth mode, your ad spend is working for you. It's doing well for you. It's driving your overall sales. You have room to grow. You have room to spend, right? And so, and again, against your target. Let's measure the signals, right? And these are the questions we want to ask for every campaign. That's the most important part here. It's not just on an overall level. It's what is it for each one, and you're measuring that across each one, right? So what is my target ACoS for each one? What's the ACoS of the campaign? Is it cost effective, right? So is it efficient? And the answer to that question is binary. Is it above that target ACoS, or is it below the target ACoS for me, right? And that's going to give you your efficiency. Is it driving new to brand? Is it bringing in new to brand customers for me? And is it driving repeat customers for me? In turn, is it incremental? And again, this is going to be more of a relationship that based on all of your campaigns, is one driving more or less? Is it driving more repeat or more new to brand or less than the other campaigns too? And that's a bit more of a relationship one, but it gives you the idea of, it answers the question of, is it incremental for me? And so the data I pulled from earlier, that's actually from a brand that we work with too. I'm not going to tell you the name, but this is what their numbers are. And this is one campaign. We have a whole bunch that irrelevant. This was one. 25% on your target ACoS. That's where they want to be. They're willing to, that's a comfortable place for them to be on a few of their campaigns here, or majority of them the two. So what's the ACoS of the campaign? 20%, right? So we're below our target, meaning the answer to the question of, is it cost effective? Well, it's highly efficient. It's highly cost effective, right? And so the efficiency score goes up there as well. So we're well below it. And is it driving new to brand? It's one of the top most ones driving new to brand, right? So then it's high. Is it driving repeat? Also high. And in turn, well, yeah, it's highly incremental, I guess. Incrementality. I just love the word. And
But
so
I think this is a good point, that you have to know the data and read the data, because you can't repeat what you can't measure, right? So you have to understand the data and read it, because otherwise you're looking at it, and like I said, when people talk to me and they say, like, what's a good number? Look at the data and see and understand. And if you're not able to read the data and understand, then you're flying blind.
yeah, and that's the tough part, right? So this way gives you not only a data-based approach to understanding it, but a really simple framework of like, okay, this is highly efficient versus it's low, right? You can do 2, you can do 3 levels, low, medium, high, right? You can go a few different ways. I like to look at 2 just to keep it super simple, right? Which area would it play in? Same with the incremental side of it too, right? You want to get more granular, you can get even more nuanced here, but the simplistic version of this so that people actually do it, just look at high or low, right? Make it easy for yourself. And then when you actually take all your campaigns and you say, well, let me map all these out, right? Let me measure my efficiency score, right? Let me measure it against incrementality, right? Let me look at and let me map all these campaigns as to where they play. They're highly efficient or and highly incremental. What does that mean? And how does that play out? And so this is what that quadrant ends up looking like, right? That things that are highly efficient and low incremental, right? What does that mean? That's the maintain area. It's, well, I'm getting my ACoS is really good on these. I'm not driving a lot of new to brand or a lot of repeat, but I'm driving good sales, right? It's very cost effective for me to get those sales. So we're going to maintain those. Those are ones that you want to keep going. Yes, I'm getting sales. Yes, I'm not necessarily buying shoppers, but again, I'm profitable on those. I want to maintain those and keep those around.
So
right?
so just to be clear, this is the only one where there's no action. You're good.
Yeah.
Everything else that you're about to talk about, you got to do stuff.
That's it, right? Like there's always, and again, depending on the mode that you're in, there's different things that you can do here too. And so on the bottom side cut, low efficient, it's a high ACoS, it's not driving new to brand, not driving repeat. Yeah, those suck. We got to get rid of those. It doesn't make a difference. Doesn't matter what it is. How we do it, all of that, it's not getting you anywhere and not driving your perspective there either. Bottom right, test/invest. these aren't the most efficient campaigns. And oftentimes we actually cut those, right? It's a high ACoS. It's above our target. It's not where we're not making enough money off of it. It's costing me more money to get those ad sales. But if it's driving a lot of new to brand and it's driving a lot of that repeat, it's really good for you. It's bringing shoppers for you. It's bringing customers to you as well. And so if that's where people are coming to you from, and that campaign is the one that's driving the most amount of new to brand for you or the most amount of repeat, you want to kind of keep those ones around and say, well, how do I either test and figure out how to make it more efficient? Or do I want to invest in these when I have the ability to do so? Because I'm okay to lose money on the ACoS level. I'm okay for them to be less efficient because I am still acquiring customers and I'm below the target. So again, the mode you're in is going to determine what you do in this quadrant, whether it is test or whether it is invest. And then again, the top right, fund. It's highly efficient, low ACoS, high need to brand, high repeat. Bob's your uncle. Throw the Benjamins at it. You want to keep funding those and keep driving success behind those ones too. So let's come back to the example. Now that we've figured out how to measure the signals, we want to map them out. I like visuals. It works really well for me. And so you can actually put a scatter plot together and figure out each one of those campaigns. And then go one step further if you want. And we all pros at Excel, so like or Google Sheets at this point. If you saw on Amazon, you are. You should make each one of those dots just like kind of like bigger or smaller based on the overall spend behind them too. It'll help you really visualize some of these things as well. And then when we start looking at moving the money, and so those quadrants I talked about, that's all on the left side here, right? It's your fund, maintain, test, invest, and cut. But when you're in, and we'll talk about each, I don't know if we want to get into each one of these, but let's talk about the grow one specifically. When I'm in that fund, exactly what we talked about. When I'm in grow, I'm at that 8% TACoS. I'm below my target. I can actually add a lot of money here. I can fund these ones because it's driving good customers for me at a cost-effective clip, right? So let me keep adding dollars here, right? And get that 8% to 10%. And you'll know which campaigns they are now, right? You'll know exactly which ones those are. So I know where to put my money. I know how to spend my money, right? The ones in maintain, keep those steady, right? That's working well for you. It's again, if you need to go up a little bit, or hey, you know what, I have a bit more room to spend here, you can add a bit more, but more than anything, you want to maintain those and you want to keep those steady. Exactly as the word says. When it comes to the test, invest, and the grow side, let's lean into it. Accept that higher ACoS. It's okay. It's above your target. It's okay. But you're getting growth, right? I'm getting a customer who I can then come back to, create an audience for, target them again, follow them around the internet with DSP. Hit them with sponsored ads and only show the sponsored ads to people in that audience for my other products. Let me get those customers in, right? We have room to get there, right? And so this is the invest side of the test or invest, right? And then in the cut, right? Minimize your spend, bring those down. It's not efficient for you, but again, they are there. They could play a role in the path. That's a Z variable, which we're going to talk about on another live series here. Let's minimize that spend. Let's reduce where we're going there. And whatever we minimize from the cut, you can actually use that into the fund. You can use that into test invest, right? So you end up putting yourself in a scenario where you're maximizing the funds you've deployed in market. Kind of cool, right?
And just to clarify,
yeah,
that's a Z number.
Yeah. John coming in with the U.S. English.
No, I think it's important for people to understand, like, building their own miniature flywheel, right, with their own money, and making sure that if you have $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, $500,000 ad spend per month that you're putting out there, you want it to be the most efficient. You want the money. You don't want to work for the money. You want the money to work for you, and you want it to make the most sense. And I think a lot of things we highlighted today is knowing the data, being self-aware of where you want to be, being self-aware of like how much you're at currently and what you're willing to spend and willing to put on the table, depending on the stage that you're at. I think that's super important.
And I think people get lost in, there's so much data on what do I do and how do I do it? Well, now this data is telling me this, and well, my click-through rate's really high on this campaign. My conversions aren't there. Like, again, you got a content problem at that point. But people get lost in all these different data signals. Just simplify it. Keep it super simple. Come back to the basics. How much am I willing to spend on every advertising dollar against my total sales, right? What is that percentage? 10%? 10 cents on every dollar? Cool. Based on that, I got my TACoS target. Now, what is my actual TACoS? Then the next layer beyond that, okay, well, let me start looking at how efficient my campaigns are. Let me see which ones are driving new to brand and repeat. And that's the one that people don't think about a lot either. But let me start looking at that. AMC unlocks all that data for you now, right? And John and I are happy to help you with that too, should you not have access to that. But that unlocks that data for you. So now I have an efficiency. I have which ones are actually bringing me the new customers or driving repeat as well. Bring all those things together, simplify it, right? And now I know what to do next, right?
And I think
I'm not firefighting anymore. It's controlled.
People love data. Oh, I want more data. I want more data. Data is great, but if it's not actionable data, you're just drowning in data. You're just drowning in CSV files, drowning in docs, and you have to make it actionable, and it has to, like I said, work for you.
Yeah. And so that's the code. That's the code. There we go. Everyone do it with me. So if you ever see us anywhere and you throw up that, we know exactly what you're talking about.
Depends on which city. There's a lot of gang signs out there. We don't want anyone hurt. Just be
only in New York. New York or Toronto. Let's go with that. But we want to forget guessing, guys. It's just not worth it anymore. Let's systemize it. Let's make our lives easier, and let's also make some money along the way. And so John and I don't like this. You guys know this about me. I know this about John. And if you know John, you know this about him too. We essentially have put all of this together into a toolkit. We gave that away at Accelerate. We're going to give it to everyone here too. You can hit that QR code. There's a spreadsheet for all of you spreadsheet lovers out there. There you go. Scan it.
I scanned it.
There you go. And then there's also, we created a GPT. You can actually put all your data into there, and it'll tell you where to cut, maintain. It'll tell you what modes you're in, all of that. Makes it a little bit easier. You can query it a bit better there too. And last but not least, a lot of these things are within the Trellis AI. And we talk about this. This is some fun stuff. There's some things going on here around that, and only more to come. But you'll be seeing more about this in short order. Let's go with. But it's all there for you, right? And so it's a matter of saying, at the end of the day, all of this is to help you guys grow, to help all of you figure out how to do this, because it's useless for us to give you that knowledge and you can't do anything with it. So hopefully these things help. You got to let us know if they do help you. I've actually already gotten, after Accelerate, about 5 or 6 people who told me that they've implemented this into their day-to-day, and it's working really well for them. And so they're pretty happy with it.
I mean, who's not going to be happy with making more money and being more optimized with their ad spend? I mean, what maniac, you want to talk about insanity, what maniac doesn't want that? That is the end goal. There's lots of founders of brands out there. I want to make the best dog supplement. I want to make the best deodorant that goes under your arm that smells. Yeah, those are all cool. At the end of the day, everyone is on there to make money and be profitable, right? So if you're able to do that, if you're able to take $5 and make it stretch, it equates to 50,000, to equates to 500,000. It's a win, and everybody wants that.
Yeah, and you couldn't have said it better. Let's keep money in our own pockets.
That's it. It'd be better if you put money in my pocket, but that's a different one we can talk
about. Yeah. Hit him up. He's in Staten Island.
How funny would it be if I just put up like a QR code for like a Cash App?
Your Venmo. The worst part is I can't even put up a Venmo. It's cross-border payments. You're trying to send me money.
Guys watching this, I went to Canada for Trellis Week, and I was like, who do I Venmo for the? They were like the e-transfer or something. It sounds super technical. Yeah, no, I'm all set. Get me back to New York.
Well, for the Canadians in here, let's go Interac. But for everyone else, e-transfer is where it's at. John, you and I have been figuring something out here. We've been having a lot of fun as well. It's kind of like this one more thing. Let's go with like the Steve Jobs moment and all of this. We did launch this at Accelerate, and we've gotten a lot of interest so far, and we believe this to be true. AI is the future of e-commerce.
Can I be the one to announce it?
Yeah, man.
All right. I just want everyone to know that as of October 1st, Trellis has acquired OpenAI. I said it. That's it. You heard it here first.
Yeah. We actually Venmo'd the funds over as well. But you got to announce it now. Now you take it.
All right, click it over. Full funnel society. So community groups, networks, it's huge, right? There's a ton of them out there. Some give value, some are whatever. really taking you through the entire funnel, right? Understanding where you're at step 1 all the way through step 9,958. But then also restarting again when you have something else new. So really taking you through that whole entire, and we talked about this. We talked about what is a full funnel? What does it look like for this person? What does it look like for that person? And we aggregated that all together and gave you the true full funnel, where it's everything inside of it to help you understand, to move faster, to scale smarter, to just be better. And I have the shiny object syndrome where I'm like, ooh, that's something new. Let me join in. And I never really engage. I've been in school groups and stuff like that. But I'm telling you guys, once this goes live, you're really going to get immense value from it.
Yeah, it's all about where and what we believe. It's yes, it's us as Trellis, but this is something for the people more than anything else, right? We're all trying to figure out what AI means, and I know John talks about it a lot in terms of like AI and content and what you can do on that front, but that's only one part of the pie. Where how do I play with AI on the ad side? What about price? What about content? What about, and again, the entire funnel, right? Everything matters, and so we have a lot of content right now on AI and how to make your images better and how to use it for that. But how do we use AI for everything else to make our businesses better, for us to be more profitable too, for us to impact our ad strategy or how we think about ads? And that's where these conversations, John and I have had. I know we've had it with a lot of other people in the space, and everyone's thinking about it. Everyone's like, I don't know, but I'm gonna try a bunch of shit. I gotta stop saying that on a live recording here, but here we are.
Oh, don't tell me we can curse because I'll pull them out.
I get passionate. What do you want me to do? And so,
but I think everyone sees hot button buzzwords, MCPs, AI, LLMs, agentic this,
I
that.
mean,
But then how do I deploy that into my funnel? How do I deploy that into this different stage? And we're talking more about, like, it's not just the when it goes live, hey, it's just Trellis talking to me about Trellis stuff. We're having design folks in there, logistics folks in there, packaging people in there, pricing, everything, because that's all part of the funnel, right? So working with our strategic partners to really give immense value, because nobody wants to join another community or group or a network to just get pitched something and not just actually take something away from it. And that's what this is going to do. It's a full-blown society. Like, if you've ever seen the movie Skulls, like, we're going to start branding people and do blood rituals. And I'm just kidding about that part, at least for right now, at least for North America. We can't get to you guys overseas just yet, but seriously, like, it's going to be very, very curated and highly actionable, because going back on the data is cool. Non-actionable data doesn't do anything. Advice, tactics, strategies are cool, but if they're not actionable, it's a cool 30-minute presentation or a cool PDF you downloaded, and you're not going to do anything with it.
That's it. So, Full Funnel Society, you can hit either of us up. If you scan that QR code before, you can, as part of that, we'll actually add you to society. You want to contribute, you let us know as well. We've been in the background building out a pretty decent roster of people that are going to be contributing what they're working on, what their projects are, how they're thinking about AI and integrating it across various different stages of the funnel as well. And so we're once we pull all that together here too, we're gonna launch that probably in the next couple of weeks here, John. I think we're pretty close.
Got a lot of things coming up, I'm telling you.
Yep. So, friends, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. Hit us up on LinkedIn. Click buttons somewhere. And this is for the YouTube that we're gonna do, right? That's gonna go live after.
And you got to pose for the thumbnail. Like, by the way, is anyone really liking the mansion I just moved into? Because, my house had a little bit of a sewer problem, so I just up and left it, and I moved into this mansion. I'm getting piano lessons next week. I put that on the Trellis credit card, by the way. Piano lessons to understand how to use this piano a little bit better. But hopefully next time.
Step one is, I think, John, you got to figure out what a piano is, and then you can. It's right there. That's the one. What kind of piano is that, John?
The black and white kind.
Yeah, it's got black and white keys. Nailed it. Perfect.
Done.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder in the making. All right, friends, you're gonna hear more from us over the next little bit. But coming at you hot. My name's Ali. This is.
Don't put me on the spot. I know this, John Aspinall.
There you go. Thanks, friends. Talk to you soon. This was Trellis Live.
Thanks, guys.